The big stories from week number 8. First off, you got to tip your hat to the Kansas City Chiefs. You got to beat who you're scheduled to play no matter what. And yeah, they struggled a little bit, but they got the job done. They beat the Browns. They're now 8-0, the only undefeated team left in the NFL, and a real legit threat to win the AFC West and not the Denver Broncos at this point. You couldn't ask for a better season as of this moment if you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan. After winning 2 games in all of 2012, you're 8-0. You have the best record in football. You're ahead of the Denver Broncos. Life's got to be very good right now if you're a Chiefs fan. Megatron and his massive day this past Sunday. I feel lucky and fortunate that I decided to watch the Cowboys-Lions game, and I watched the entire game. What an awesome performance by Megatron. Finishing just a few yards shy of Flipper Anderson's record for most receiving yards in the game. Megatron was incredible, and that's even with having a fumble and 1 or 2 kind of what I would classify as bad drops. That just tells you just how incredibly and immensely talented and gifted of a performer and player Calvin Johnson really is. He was monstrous. He was Megatron this past Sunday. Impressive. One of the better single-game performances I've seen in my lifetime as a football fan. Does it measure up maybe in terms of sheer awesomeness to Randy Moss's Thanksgiving Day performance against the Cowboys at Cowboy Stadium in 1998? Oh, hell no. I don't know if anything will have the sex appeal of that performance back in 98, period. But this was an incredible performance by Megatron, no question about it. And then, the Seahawks nearly got rammed on Monday Night Football. The Rams behind Kellen Clemens looked to be outclassed and well undermanned, and instead they made it an incredibly competitive football contest to where the Seahawks barely were able to hang on and win. That's good news for the St. Louis Rams that they were able to rally together. The defense played very well. It's a little bit of bad news for the Seahawks. They should have handled the St. Louis Rams, who were without their starting quarterback, Sam Bradford, who have been struggling a little bit offensively, who have definitely been struggling defensively. For some reason, the Seahawks fell way too much in love with the passing game on Monday night, and they did almost get rammed. And I think that's something to pay attention to as the season goes along, are the Seahawks going to start to get too full of themselves? Are they going to veer too far off course, making things too much about Russell Wilson and not enough about Marshawn Lynch and that running game in Seattle? That remains to be seen. Let's talk about some of the highlights from week number 8 now. Some of the highlights in week number 8. We'll start off with the Green Bay Packers. They started off 1-2, had a perfectly timed bye week, and now they're on a roll. They've won 4 in a row. They've got Chicago coming in without Briggs and Melton and Cutler and a few other guys. In week number 9, to Lambeau Field. Probably going to be another victory for Green Bay. The Packers are rolling right now. Aaron Rodgers, to me, continues to demonstrate why he's the best quarterback in the National Football League. No Finley, no Cobb, no James Jones, and they just keep putting up numbers. It's impressive. Eddie Lacy is running the ball very well, providing more balance than the Packers have had in recent years. This Packers team reminds me a lot of that 2010 team that went on to win the Super Bowl. They had all these injuries, but they kept finding guys to plug into spots and fill in holes, and they just had tremendous depth. And this Packers team this year looks like they do as well. A real legit threat in that NFC right now, right along with the Saints and definitely the Seahawks. No question about it. The Detroit Lions found a way to win a game they probably should have lost. That last year they would have lost. This was a big game for the Detroit Lions. It kept them at pace, so to speak, with the Green Bay Packers in that NFC North race. And, it's those type of wins generate a lot of momentum as you're going towards the second half of the season. A team starts to believe in itself. It starts to get a little full of itself in a good way. And those type of wins are critical in your success in wanting to really contend for a playoff spot. Look at the Cincinnati Bengals. For all the attention that Peyton Manning is getting right now with the Denver Broncos and their glorious offense and their 7-1 record, and all the attention the Chiefs are getting for being 8-0 right now against a relatively soft schedule, but they're still 8-0. It's 8-0 in the NFL. That's impressive. The Cincinnati Bengals are just sitting there at 6-2. They beat some quality teams, and Andy Dalton is on fire right now. This Cincinnati Bengals team, to me, is the most complete, well-balanced, well-rounded team in the AFC. In particular, if Andy Dalton continues to play at the high level that he has the past couple of weeks, what they did against the Jets was scary. Watch out in the second half of this season for the Cincinnati Bengals. This is a really good football team and a legit Super Bowl contender out of the AFC. And now for some of the lowlights Remember when people were talking about the attitude that Greg Schiano was instituting in Tampa Bay last year? Yeah, you know what? Forget any other shit I'm going to say. Greg Schiano sucks and he should be fired. What a disgrace to have as your head coach in an NFL team. What a disgrace. I can't believe that the Bucks have not fired this piece of crap already. He's horrendous and he deserves to be fired, period. You look at Chip Kelly. Remember when he was supposed to revolutionize the NFL? How does offense do again on Sunday against the Giants? Oh my God! Think about that. The Giants are what 2-6 right now, and they're not that far out. If you're not careful, the Giants win a few more games, they're going to be right back in the real legit hunt in the NFC East and might win that damn division. The Eagles, though, terrible team. Their defense is actually starting to play a little bit better, and now their offense isn't doing a damn thing. That's pathetic, especially in that pathetic-ass NFC East division. And then, of course, when you speak of pathetic, you have to refer to the Dallas Cowboys. And look, the Dallas Cowboys are who I thought they were. And they have been for a number of years. And this game, once again, just like the Ravens game of last year, to me perfectly epitomizes everything that the Dallas Cowboys represent. You play like shit, then you find a way to catch fire, you look like you should win the game, and then you find a way to lose the game when you had victory in your grasp. And you really can't blame Romo on this one, this time at least. You know, what the hell was Monty Kiffin doing? What the hell was that Dallas Cowboy defensive coaching staff thinking? You're going to sit there. Megatron's already had a big fucking day. So I'm going to sit there and I'm not going to triple team him? Let the tall white guy Durham beat you. Let Broyles beat you. Let Pettigrew beat you. Because none of them can. You're going to let the one guy who could potentially beat you and hit a huge play late in the game after the white guy Durham had like a 40-yard catch before that. And I can live with the Chris Durham torching me late. I cannot live with Megatron shredding my defense when he has already done it throughout the course of the entire game and the game is on the line. I do not get that. What the hell type of defense were the Cowboys playing? This is the type of stupid shit that has epitomized Jerry Jones' teams over the past 17, 18 years. And this is why, once again, even though I do think the Cowboys will still win the division with a whole whopping record of 8-8 or 9-7, why the Cowboys stink. They are overrated. They are nothing more than a mediocre football team and are nothing but pretenders and never will be contenders until the formula dramatically changes there in Dallas. And speaking of lowlights, Dez Bryant, and no, not Dez Bryant himself, but the media reaction to Dez Bryant. You know, all this focus on trying to create, all this furor and trying to create scandal and trying to create controversy and trying to create some type of sensationalistic story to be able to continue, ESPN especially, to focus on fucking Dez Bryant for the next week and dramatize something involving the Dallas Cowboys. Look, Dez Bryant, in my opinion, had a right to be pissed. Even though it sounds like, from what there was said, he wasn't pissed. He should have been. That was embarrassing. How do you sit there and get in a position to win the game like that and have your defense piss it down their fucking legs like that? That's ridiculous. That's stupid. Me personally, if I was Dez Bryant, I'd be going up in the face of the defensive coordinator and saying, what the fuck are you doing? I'd be going to some of the defensive players and saying, what the fuck are you doing? Do you have no pride in who you are as a professional? Ridiculous. I got Dez Bryant's back on this. I don't care if he said shit positive. I don't care if he said shit negative. It doesn't matter. Stop trying to make sensationalistic bullshit out of these guys. Fuck ESPN and the national sports media sometimes. Damn it all. Instead of focusing on doing some actual football in professional sports journalism, they go to this National Enquirer type of scandalous bullshit. Let's talk about award winners at the halfway point of this 2013 NFL season. Coach of the Year is a slam dunk pick of all slam dunk picks. Andy Reid of the Kansas City Chiefs. 2 wins last year as a team. They're already at 8-0. They've won 8 games. They're the only undefeated team left in the NFL. Coach of the Year, easy. Andy Reid right now. Offensive Rookie of the Year, I'm going to go with Eddie Lacy of the Green Bay Packers because I think he's done a great job in the past few weeks of providing some balance to that Green Bay Packers offense. It gives them another dimension and makes them, I think, an even more scary team come playoff time because they have that balance, the ability to grind out some tough yards in close situations late in the game. Defensive Rookie of the Year, you could throw out guys like Honey Badger or maybe Sheldon Richardson. There are some good candidates, but I still am sticking with Kiko Alonso right now of the Buffalo Bills. I think he's been incredible. I think he's been dynamic. He's been everything you could ask for out of a second-round pick, that's for damn sure. Defensive Player of the Year. To me, there's not any one slam dunk candidate like there was maybe with the J.J. Watt last year. You have some guys you could throw in there. I'm going to go for a guy that's a little off the radar, but he's having a phenomenal year, maybe his best year of his career. His team is 5-2. He's a former Super Bowl champion. He's been with this team a long time. Doesn't always get the credit I think he deserves for just how good of a football player he's been for many years. And that's Robert Mathis of the Indianapolis Colts. In 7 games, he has 11.5 sacks. He's been dynamic. He's a big part of that team. He's a big part of the Colts being a little bit better defensively than I thought they were going to be. I'm going to give the Defensive Player of the Year right now to Robert Mathis. Hell yeah. And then when it comes to MVP, to me, Peyton Manning is the Offensive Player of the Year right now because of the ridiculous numbers that he's posting. I do not think, however, at this point that he is the MVP. Halfway through the season, you can make arguments for guys like a Drew Brees. He definitely has the Saints at 6-1. They're legit contenders in the NFC. They have a chance maybe to get home field advantage. Brees is a legit candidate, but I got to go with Aaron Rodgers right now. His team is rolling. He's putting up great numbers. He's lost Randall Cobb. He hasn't had James Jones the past couple of weeks. It looks like he won't have Jermichael Finley for the rest of the year. He's throwing to guys like Jared Boykin. The bottom line is Aaron Rodgers, to me, is the best quarterback in the National Football League. And this season, I think, is ultimately going to show it and ultimately going to prove it. So right now, who do I think is the most valuable player to his team? I think it's got to be Aaron Rodgers of the Green Bay Packers. Looking ahead to Week 9, 3 games stand out to me above the rest. First, the Falcons taking on the Panthers. When you look at this from the Carolina Panthers standpoint, they're above 500. They're 4-3. They're starting to feel good about themselves. They're starting to, play well. They look like a little bit of a scary team. The Atlanta Falcons are 2-5. They look like shit, frankly. They look like their season's about to be done. You've got injuries here, injuries there, problems everywhere. If the Panthers want to have a shot at sticking in the divisional race with the Saints, if they want to cement their place as a legit wild card contender at the very least, they have to win this game. If you're the Atlanta Falcons, let's be as realistic as we possibly can be. If you lose to the Carolina Panthers and you go to 2-6, your season is effectively over. That's how big of a game this is this week. Actually, I think, frankly, for both teams. Because if the Panthers go to 4-4, then they're just still a mediocre team. They need to win this game. It's a divisional matchup. They can knock the Atlanta Falcons effectively out of the divisional race, effectively maybe out of the playoff race, and keep pace with the New Orleans Saints. The Ravens taking on the Browns. This is a matchup of a 3-4 and 3-5 team. The bottom line is the loser of this game is effectively pretty much for sure eliminated from the race in the AFC North because I think the Bengals will end up running away with it anyways. But when you're thinking about it from a playoff standpoint, the defending Super Bowl champions are only 3-4. They haven't been all that good. They need to win this game to get back to 500. The Browns were 3-2. Now they're 3-5. Reality started to catch up with this team a little bit. If they go to 3-6, their season's pretty much over, and that's a fact. So a monster game for both teams involved. But my game of the week, and I'm biased here, but I don't give a shit, is the Bears and Packers at Lambeau Field on Monday Night Football. This is the game of the week. This is an incredibly important game for both teams. First, for the Packers' standpoint, you have a chance to win a divisional matchup at home against a wounded Bears team where you could basically knock them a couple of games back in the standings and pretty much end any hopes that the Bears have of contending for and winning that NFC North. And from the Bears' standpoint, as an organization, this is an incredibly important game. This is a game I pointed out in my preseason preview because Week 9 at Lambeau Field, the last 6 Bears head coaches in their first years, in their first season of playing Green Bay, going all the way back to Jack Pardee, in the mid-'70s, have won at least once against Green Bay in their first season facing off with them. You have to go back to Abe Gibron, the last time that a Bears coach didn't win against Green Bay at least once in his first season. Mark Trestman was ultimately hired because of Lovie Smith's failures over the past 4 years to beat Green Bay, a 1-8 record, including a loss in the 2010 NFC Championship game. The Bears are scuffling a little bit right now after starting off kind of hot. They've kind of fizzled a little bit. They got beat by a not-so-good Redskins team in week number 7. They've had this bye, but Peppers has played like shit this year. Melton's out for the year. Collins is out for the year. Briggs is out 4 to 6 weeks. DJ Williams is out for the year. Peanut Tillman's dinged up. Cutler's out for a few weeks. This is a very dinged up and very wounded Bears team. If they have any delusions of really being a playoff team, if they have any real delusions of being anything different other than what they've been the past few years. This team must find a way to beat Green Bay on Sunday. Make no mistake about it. I don't think they will. I don't believe they will. I still think they match up horribly with the Green Bay Packers. The same problem they've had for many years. Many years. But, maybe they'll get lucky. Maybe Josh McCown, will throw something at Green Bay that they're not prepared for. But the bottom line is this is the game of the week. This is the matchup of the week, and an incredibly important game for both teams, because if the Packers find a way to beat the Bears here at home on Monday night, who knows who's going to be able to stop the Packers next? Maybe nobody.